Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. The next 10 minutes are inspired by a red belt and a bad back. I hope you enjoy it. Welcome to the engine. I went to the World Championship of Brazilian Jiu Jitsu some years ago. Actually went pretty regularly to compete, from all my lower belts all the way up. And I was in the stands watching the black belts. I was only a blue belt this particular tournament, but I was in the stands watching the black belts and hanging out with my wife and chatting with friends. And this kid who was right in a row in front of us, and he was only to be like 14 or 15, turns around and starts talking to this guy in the row behind us. Now, the dude in the row behind us was old. Okay, so I'm talking like 75, balding. You could see he had some years on him. And the kid was like, "Hey, do you want to come sit up here?" And the guy was like, "Oh, no, I'm fine. Thank you. Thank you." And the kid said, "Oh, bad knee?" And he was like, "Yeah, best to just not move around." Old kind of Brazilian guy, had an accent, but very nice about it. Well, I come to find out that guy is a red belt. Now, a red belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu means that you've been at this for like 40 years. You've been part of a gym, an instructor. It it means you're it, right? And in fact, it may actually be 50 years is the fastest you can get it. But the point is, this guy likely started training when he was in his teens, decades ago, and now he's in his like 70s, broken down. But he's a red belt. And there aren't many of those guys running around just by the amount of time it takes. I mean, an average black belt takes 10, 11 years. And that's for the average black belt. That's not the average time it takes somebody to get a black belt. Most people don't get black belts. So it was a cool thing to be around him. And whether or not you're into martial arts or you're into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you can likely appreciate seeing somebody who's really committed themselves and knowing that there's something different about them. And this guy was broken down. He was broken in his body. His knees bad, and I'm sure his shoulders were shot, and he was kind of hunched over. But he was here, and you could see. I tried to not like creep on him, but I watched him a little bit, and you could see how into the experience he was, just watching the the state of the art, world class black belts compete, and it's almost like you could see him running through his own life experiences or thinking about what he would do in certain positions. And when you watch old guys like that, you can see their hands start to move. They're trying to grab for the guy they're watching. They're trying to do the moves. They don't even know they're doing it. They're just reacting. It was a really cool thing. And it occurred to me that it's not for everyone, because at the end of the day, you have to see Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as something that you would trade your body for. You have to see it as something where when you're starting at 20 or 30 or whenever, they say, okay, look, by 60, your knees are going to be gone, your shoulders are probably gone, your back's gone. Now, this is what you get out of it, right? The experience of doing jiu-jitsu, and this is what you get for it, right? You get the experience, and then you get the bad knees. And I appreciated that guy. I was sitting there watching him thinking, like, God, man, you really made that trade. And I've been very fortunate. I don't have that many aches and pains, but my back, my lower back is one of those things that just takes a hammering. It is what it is. I can't do anything about it. I try to stretch and I try to strengthen it and I try to make sure my core's strong. But when I wake up in the morning, man, after hard training rounds, I'm bent over. And thankfully, I haven't been training. I haven't been training. So my back is very happy. I'm not, because I'm not training, but also because my back still hurts. Now, let me be clear. When I'm talking about my back hurting, I mean I get up, barely get out of bed, waddle to the kitchen, get coffee, and I bend over. My wife and I brew coffee at night. Bend over. We have our microwave down low in one of those kind of cabinet microwave areas. I bend over to put the coffee in the microwave, and I have to hold my left knee with my left hand to balance myself so I can get my right hand to put the coffee in the microwave. Now, I thought this was because of jiu-jitsu. I thought it's because of training. I thought it's because of the wear and tear. And here I haven't trained for months, and my lower back still hurts. So I had this horrendous realization recently that, in fact, no, it's not Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You're just getting old. Which, again, it made me laugh. It's like, oh, I am 38, man. I'm definitely not getting younger, that's for sure. But I started thinking about the old guy at the World Championships. I started thinking about him again and wondering about him because he was old. You know, again, he's had sunspots or liver spots, whatever the things on your skin are that really, I mean, you see old people with them a lot. He didn't have hair. You know, he was overweight, not horribly, but he's just an old kind of soft guy. And I was thinking about his knee and his, shoulders or whatever, and thinking that I really attributed those to jiu-jitsu, but I also attributed my bad back to jiu-jitsu. So what was actually going on here? Is it really fair to say this guy was banged up just from jiu-jitsu? Now, I think it's undeniable that he probably took some wear and tear on his body. But then I started thinking about like other 75 and 80-year-olds that I know. There's not a single one of them running around like a spring chicken. Like, if you're 75, 80, you're slowing down. You're slowing down for sure. You're not running all around. And every 75, 80-year-old, they got some ache and pain. They're not free. And that really stopped me. That really stopped me because it became clear that no matter what I do, no matter if I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or if I cycle a lot or if I run a lot or if I do nothing, my lower back will probably just hurt. And yeah, look, I could get into yoga. I could probably do some other things, work on my core, fine. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, that my lower back hurting is just kind of me getting older. Fine. But the really upsetting thing to me is that I haven't gotten anything out of it. When I thought that my lower back hurt because I was doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, it was a fair trade. I have no problem thinking about being the guy in the stands with a bum knee and a busted shoulder and a bad back at 75 and realizing I'm twisting my shirt or the program in my hands up into knots watching the black belts fight. I have no problem making that trade. And I thought that's the trade I was making. I thought that it was like, look, aches and pains, but look at what you have. And I was good with it. But now I realize maybe it's just aches and pains, and I'm getting nothing out of it. I'm getting nothing for it. Yes, I'm getting my days, and God bless those. Thank you for still having me here, everyone. But this is just kind of the way it's going to go for all of us. I think the reality is we're all going to see ourselves, if we're lucky, get older, slow down, lose our limbs, our knees, our joints, everything. Your arm's not going to work quite right one day. Your knee's not going to be that great. Your back is definitely not going to be great. It's going to happen to all of us. We're all going to suffer through this. But the question is, will you get something out of it? Will you get something out of your days? Are you going to use the opportunity you have now? Are you going to do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? Are you going to do running? Are you going to do something? Are you not doing something? Are you not engaging in something meaningful to you because you're worried about the wear and tear on your body? Well, guess what? You're going to have wear and tear on your body no matter what. To what extent? I have no idea. Will it be as bad? Probably not. But we're all going down. We're all going to have to suffer through life's aches and pains. And the only question is, are you going to get something for it or are you not? And if at this point, you're not getting something for it, you're not getting something out of every day, out of your body, out of your mind, if you're not getting something for it, for the pain that you will inevitably have to go through, you should take a step back and think about that. Because life is short, and none of us are getting out of this alive, no matter what you do. I'm Todd, and this is the engine that drives me. Go out and crush it.